Criticism is good, but it should be constructive criticism. The thing with social media and internet is that it can empower you like anything if you use it the other way, the right way, and it can destroy you also, if you get addicted. So this, I personally feel, why do students need to have mobiles?
Why the state of Meghalaya has not been able to produce a single IAS or IPS officer in the last 13 years?
See, the beauty of UPSC is that if you prepare for the exam, it prepares you for all other exams.
Now, sir, if we talk about social media, you are no longer new to social media because you use it from time to time, and you've also used social media as a platform to spread awareness on, number one, education and different issues altogether. So when did you start realizing that social media has a power to actually, make a change?
See, the thing is that if something good is being done, I think it should be spread, because many times we don't know what's, so for example, this podcast which we started, the education podcast. Now, if you look at the newspapers and the social media, whatever news was coming on education was bad, and which, something bad only about, so. But then there are so many good things which are happening. There are so many good principals, there are so many good teachers who are doing fabulous work. One example is by Everlasting Pingrove from this Minchem school, Bhoirembong. He won the national award recently. It's innovative ideas, and if we have a leader in every school like him, unbelievable results will come. So these are all good things. People need to know that they are there, and something good is happening in this. So that was the main reason we started this whole podcast for education, and same thing in the district also, because I feel that there is a lot of anti-establishment feeling, and the whole narrative in the media and everything is about criticizing only and all. Criticism is good, but it should be constructive criticism, that there should be some suggestion also, like, okay, this is a problem, but what do we do about it? If simply we keep on cribbing, so then whole space is, if you look at the news channels today, the newspapers today, it's all filled of this negative and all. You don't feel like reading, you don't feel like watching only. So we wanted to always, through my whatever handles are there, we just try to spread the whatever good things are being done. And of course, it helps us to get feedback also. It's amazing how can, for example, we started this, so education department had no social media handles before. And when we started it, now suddenly if we want to share something with the teachers, we can share that, and we can immediately connect. I can just do a live, Facebook live, and I can connect with all the teachers immediately. So this is empowering. Like, where else? If you want to organize a training, it requires resources, it requires this, that and all that. If I want to pass a message to my teachers, immediately I can do that. So that's empowering. So these models, of course, now there's the other side to it, because now students are getting, recently I was doing a career counseling in Edmonds, and one of the kids, most of the kids are facing this. Their attention span has decreased because of these reel culture, short culture and all that, because they're very addictive, and the dopamine release, so they cannot concentrate more than 30 seconds. So in the class, teachers were telling me, in a half an hour period, they in 5 minutes they lose interest. They are not able to concentrate, they are not able to look at the teacher, listen, they are looking here and there. They're getting, if you take away their mobile phones, some parents were sharing, they start shaking, that anxiety, so that's really bad. So everything has a good side, everything has a bad side. The thing with social media and internet is that it can empower you like anything if you use it the other way, the right way, and it can destroy you also, if you get addicted. So the problem is you need to have maturity. The current issue is that students are getting access to this before they get that maturity, the maturity to handle that social media. So this, I personally feel, why do students need to have mobiles? I got my first mobile when I was after college only. But of course, these were different times. If they want access to internet, they should be given access in the form of a computer where they can learn, they go to Wikipedia, go to YouTube, watch documentaries and all. That's fine. But I think it's a very difficult tool to handle if you don't have the maturity. So that's something I think which is a big problem. We also are thinking what we can do from the department. So maybe we'll come up with something. But yeah, social media, the whole idea is to spread the good word and to connect and hear diverse viewpoints, because sitting here we may not understand everything. So if we put a poll, if we put a something, people comment and we get all kinds of feedback. So it helps us improve policy making also. So what's the harm in using the tool if it benefits? Yeah.
Exactly. So because you already mentioned that you should attain a certain maturity to handle social media. But now we see mostly in schools and parents also giving students their children mobile phone, like the recent unfortunate incident in Mauritania also, where a child died by suicide because she was cell phone was taken from her. So what message would you like to give to the parents, when it comes to dealing with social media and especially with their kids handling mobile phones?
As I said, I feel in the school, when you're in the school, of course, internet is a very empowering thing, so you may need it to research and all. So if we can give them access to rather computers, like if not computer, maybe in a school also there is computer labs. So we do have computer periods, right? So where they can access and all that. Giving, it's an easy solution. So now as a parent, I feel, if you just hand over an iPad or I have seen this, with small kids. So the parents, because parents are also busy, they're working, they don't have time. So an easy solution, because otherwise the kid will bother them. So otherwise the simple solution is just give them a tab and he will keep watching, but you are not seeing what it's doing to the mental health of the child. The anxiety issues, the dopamine release, it's, every parent, I think we need a lot of sessions with parents also. So whenever the schools are conducting these PTMs, they should talk about all this. And it's my personal opinion that when the kid is in school, I think access to internet, that too monitored access through desktop or a laptop, that is good enough to give them all the resources. I don't think kids really need to have a mobile phone before. And this maturity thing is also, we cannot put a age, I cannot say after 18 or after, because some kids mature really fast. So it should be case to case basis. Like, parents should take that judgment that if they feel their kid is mature enough to handle, it's fine. But if he or she not, then definitely it's not a good idea.
So we'll come to the last segment of our discussion, of our conversation. Let's talk about the UPSC exams and why the state of Meghalaya has not been able to produce a single IAS or IPS officer in the last 13 years. So according to you, what do you think is the reason? Why are our youths not able to crack the examinations?
So this is also something which I'm doing already. I think last was our Madam Isha, 2013 batch, and after that nobody has come. But see, the problem is again in the foundations. One is that, and the other is, I feel, because I have interacted with a lot of youth in this thing, so I feel that this confidence is missing. They feel this exam is too alien or too difficult to even consider attempting. So if you look at the stats, so I wrote actually to UPSC to asking all the data, like how many from Meghalaya appear and all those things. So if you look at the data, very few appear itself. So they give up at the initial stage itself. So we need to change that, and that it's okay if you don't clear. See, the beauty of UPSC is that if you prepare for the exam, it prepares you for all other exams. It's okay if you don't clear. It's the most difficult exam in India. It's okay. The number of people are giving huge. The seats are very less. It's fine. But when you prepare for UPSC, because what is the syllabus of UPSC? UPSC is everything. So you read little bit of everything. So you become very learned. You become very you have an opinion on everything. And you get to know about various things, various opportunities. So while preparing for UPSC, you will get to know about various similar exams, and then you may as well clear them. So that is one thing our youth needs to start giving, at least attempting, if they are going this thing. The second is that the foundations are very important. So as I said, again, taking back from career counseling, I always tell my students that if you read newspaper every day, and if you do it starting from class 9th, so 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, graduation 3 years, 7 years, if you do that, you don't need to do anything, you will crack any exam. This is as simple as it gets. But how many of them do? When I ask them, raise hand, nobody reads newspaper. Nobody, not even a single. Out of those 500 sitting in Edmonds, nobody said I read newspaper every day. So that is the problem, that we are not doing the basics right. Reading newspaper, reading your NCRTs or the textbooks in concentrating while actually understanding. I remember when I was in school, I never studied at home, because one of the most best advice I ever got from my parents: when you are in school, just pay 100% attention. So I did that, and I stood class. I was class topper, like, mostly, right across, just by paying attention to what the teacher is saying. I never study. My parents were like, you don't study, how come you've come first? Either you're doing something very right or something very wrong. So I said, no, I just pay attention. So that's what I tell students. I mean, if you do that, that's good enough. It's enough. I mean, what is there? School is not like some rocket science, right? It's very simple concepts are there. And if you pay attention, you didn't need not. But in our time, there was no Insta, no Facebook, and all that, of course. So we had no distractions. Yes. But this generation is really, full of distractions. So it's very challenging for them. I understand that.
So is it also because of the structure? Because MBO's teachers is a little different from what ICSE or CBSE.
That is why we have adopted NCERT textbooks, and hopefully in the coming years you'll see a difference in the standard. But one thing is that we have to attempt different sort of exams. We have to go out. Maybe many exams are not conducted in Meghalaya, so that effort we have to make. We have to write different exams. For UPSC, simple thing is needed is foundation. You need to have a good foundation, and the rest is just hard work. Like for 1 or 2 years, you'll have to work really hard, read everything and all that. So, anyone can do it. I have seen, people from remotest areas clearing this exam. We just need that belief. And I'll give you the example of Arunachal. So, similar thing was happening with Arunachal quite many years ago. But then in 2008, one of the officers who is now here, Joram sir, so he was telling me the story that, okay, so once I cleared, then one more cleared. So that cycle started and people started believing. Mm-hmm. So now every year, 1 or 2 are coming. So here, because of this huge gap, so now people feel it's okay, it's beyond our thing and all that. So that is why, so I have created a WhatsApp group where some 1,000 plus people are there. So every day I have given them some kind of tips, what they do this. 4 people have given mains this year. Let's see if some of them can clear this year. Even if one clears, I think that cycle will
continue.
Yeah.
So we know that there is very less awareness when it comes to these competitive examinations, because we see that very few students attempt, let's say, CAT exam or different exams to get enrolled in IIT or IIM. Very few locals we see. Forget about UPSC exams. So why do you think there is less awareness, and the curiosity among the youth also is very limited? They're not very curious about the world out there. I mean, the different opportunities that are out there.
One reason I feel is that there's lack of talk about it. So that's why I do a lot of career counseling. I mean, when I was in school, there was never a career counseling, and I feel so how it happens is that we just follow the herd. So I was good in maths because I was my father was a mathematics teacher. So I was when I cleared 12th, I had no idea what to do. Somebody said, okay, you are good in maths, you go to IIT, give IIT exam. I gave IIT, I cleared IIT. Then after IIT, somebody, okay, sit in interview, you can take any job. We took any job. I was working in Deloitte Consulting. So how this, never a thought process, like what we actually want to do, right? Because the opportunities are always there, and now more so than ever. Because when we were in school, we only saw either you can become a doctor or an engineer. We never knew there's so many opportunities, otherwise I would have become a footballer. If I was at 3 years of age, somebody told me, okay, you can do you have to start early. So that is the problem here. Because when we go to these schools and all ask, what you want to become, they have no answers. What they see, many people say, I want to become MLA. So this is the common answer, because that's what they're seeing. Yes. There's no other profession they're seeing.
Yeah.
They don't even know what is IAS, right? I mean, they know DC, okay,
but they do know
how to become a DC,
exactly.
how to be, they don't know. They don't know how to become a scientist. They don't know what is engineering, what is IIT. That this is the problem. So we need to have more of these sessions to open up their this thing. I think every school, in fact, in one of the bagless days, we have given them this thing only, career counseling. So I tell all the principals, on every week you invite one guest. One can be doctor, you invite one engineer, one somebody who's working in research, somebody from social media, somebody journalism, somebody from the any other field. So people will get different perspectives and they will all tell their stories, how we became this and that and all that. Then people will start believing, okay, somebody can do it, right? I mean, here that's what the problem is. Same with IIT also. People feel it's very difficult, and here we cannot. And anyway, maths is feared, no, in maths and science. So that is the problem of not talking about it. So we need to start talking about these opportunities. And one thing we need to accept, that here there won't be many opportunities. It's a small state. We don't have industries. We don't have manufacturing, big factories and all that. So where the jobs will come? Government jobs, let's say 500 jobs every year. How many people are graduating now? 20,000 in Meghalaya. What will these 19,500 people do? So we have to accept the idea, maybe we'll have to move out at least for some time to get experience, at least. So that mindset also has to change, and this awareness has to come. Then only we'll see. And it's not like we are, we cannot even clear. It's not about that. It's just lack of awareness and confidence. These two things. Simple.
Because you cleared your UPSC exams in your third attempt 2015, right? So what kept you going? Because you had, according to what I've read, you went through a troubled time also in the middle while preparing for the UPSC exams.
See, I mean, it's damaging because, you once you fail in that exam, you have to again start from there are 3 stages: prelims, mains and interviews. Even if you reach interview and do not get selected, again you have to start from the basics. So I had everything at stake. I left my job in 2000. So my family was against it because at that point of time it was recession time, 2010 around. So jobs were not very easy to get. So I left a very good, very high paying job at that point of time. So a lot of at stake. Like I had to prove myself. So there was and there's no I don't have siblings. So the whole thing was on me only. So that kept me going, and in fact it was my passion to join this service. So that kept me going. But even if I had my plan B also, so this is also people fear. If you commit to UPSC, nothing else, you will waste, end up 6-7 years, and then what you'll do if you don't clear. So that fear we should not have, because you can always have a plan B. So my plan B was, I'll do something with teaching or something like that. You can always have a plan B.
Because you teach at the coaching center.
Yes,
also,
yes,
right?
I was teaching also, because you have to earn, because living in Delhi, supporting yourself, you have to support yourself. But the thing is that, as I said before, if you prepare for UPSC, it prepares you for life. Because you read so many things and you get to know so many opportunities. So we should not be so, okay, this is the only thing and all. There are so many better opportunities. You can always, if you want to work for people, if not government service, you can start an NGO, you can start some social movement or something like that. Many things you can do. So we need to have that kind of mindset. So here I would say, to give we need more awareness, and we need to push our youth. You don't worry about the result and all, just appear first, for a couple of years, let's make them appear. And then, so because nobody is appearing, these all exams are not having centers in Meghalaya. So you have to go to Guwahati. Then you are asking why center is not there, because you are not giving the exam. If you give and enroll, they will have to give centers. They will have to give centers in Cleriat, in Bagmara also, if you have enough people. But we don't have the numbers. UPSC, only a handful. So for a handful, they will not give center. No? That is the problem.
So it all takes determination, perseverance from a person's end to actually, make it through.
Right.
So let's talk about a better lifestyle, because you're very active when it comes to, how to live a better lifestyle. You go for a walk every morning, and you always try to promote this on social media. How has that come? How have you received a positive response from people? Have people started, copying you when it comes to that?
So because I was into football and I was into running, but not walking. I was never into walking. But here when I came, there's so much of traffic congestion. So from here to my office in Laimukra is 3.6 kilometers. And it was taking 40 minutes sometimes, right? 40 minutes. So once I decided, okay, let me walk. Because Shillong, the best thing is the weather. At least it's not like Garo Hills. It was too hot for walking. So once I walked, I reached in 45 minutes. So it's almost the same. So I figured ki matlab, okay, so and then in hilly cities this is a problem because we have narrow roads and there's a lot of congestion, and most of the and that whole Don Bosco area, all the schools are there. So if you go there at 9 a.m. in the morning, you cannot see anything. It's sea of this thing and all that. So I decided, okay, so let's start something. And in fact, I remembered our chief minister also did it initially once he walked to office, and I remembered that. So I thought, okay, let's start that. So we started on Wednesday, and I started with my office. I told all my staff ki Wednesday you have to walk, like whomsoever is like within 2-3 kilometers, you have to walk. So I got a very good response. And then some people messaged me that, okay, we are also interested from other offices and all that. So they said ki we should start a club. Yeah. So then we started this Shillong Walking Club, and it's very we have a very good membership it has. We to promote it, we designed this logo and everything. This it's all volunteer. There's nothing on paper. It's all going because people want it to be. So this hoodie and this thing. So then we gifted it to all the senior IAS officers. We told them, please walk if you can sometimes and all that. So it's good. I gifted it to Chief Minister also. So the response is good, and I think many people are walking. And the best thing is that whenever I walk, so every Wednesday I try to, if it is not, the problem is I may have too many meetings in too many venues. So sometimes Wednesday also I have to take vehicle. But usually I walk on Wednesdays. So when I walk, I meet a lot of people on the way, and they tell me we have started doing this, we are walking. And in fact, one person came to my office to tell me this. For the last 6 months I'm walking every day to office, and then now I'm feeling, because I was fat and this heart issues and all that, I'm all good now.
You were never fat.
Huh?
I saw the pictures.
No, that fat. Person told me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that person was fat. Yeah, so he said, yeah, I'm so fit now, and because of walking.
It helps, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good exercise. If you walk for 1.5 to 2 hours, it's you don't need a workout basically.
And I see you're collaborating with former RJ Nikki J also, right?
Yeah.
Because he also likes to promote all of this.
Yeah, so he's into this cleanliness and all those things. So he also is. We are doing a campaign together, which is called Super. So basically, you see a lot of plastics, everywhere. So one idea is that so because we don't have that kind of machinery which deals with all these, so it's all plastic is going to the dump. So one easy solution which I did in Tura also is that you make eco bricks. So you take a plastic bottle, you fill all the vapors and those Lays, Kurkure and all those things in that, the plastic, single use plastic. And then you stuff it, keep stuffing it, and it will become so hard, it's like a brick. So you can use it like a brick, and you can make, so we made toilets also in this Tura, using these eco bricks and all that. So it's a brilliant solution. So he came up with the idea that we should involve school students and all that. So yeah, we are doing that with
Okay, so it's been a very long conversation, sir. So to end this interview, would you like to give any message to our viewers? And towards the end, if there's any Khasi word that you've learned, feel free to address our viewers.
So my basic, because I think most of the viewership is from Meghalaya and Shillong. So one is that this problem of congestion we have in our city. This walking thing is it looks very minimalist, kind of okay, what will it happen and all. One simple example is that on one Wednesday, if all people decide to walk, if most people, let's say 10,000 people in Shillong decide to walk, so there will be 10,000 less vehicles on the road, and you will feel the difference when it comes to the thing. So if it picks up, and it will only pick up when people, those who don't have to walk, because those people who have to walk every day, they don't have vehicles, they are walking, many people are walking, but those who have 3-4 cars, they decide to walk instead on a Wednesday. I think it will make a big difference. There are other things government is doing, parking and everything, broadening, but I think this is also is a potential solution to the problem. So that is one. Education, I want to say that everyone has to play a role. Government may have limited resources, so it may take so many years to do, but if everyone comes on board, I think together, and rather than just constantly criticizing and saying negative things, I think we can just come all together and work and improve, and once again make Shillong or Meghalaya the education capital. So I mean, Khasi I'm yet to pick up. I don't know much, but I'll just say Khublai Shibun.
Thank you, sir. Ti perlo ka tungi la yo snow na gajing kren gajangi but DC Barim jong ka East Garo Hills kumjo roi ka West Garo Hills but bentau belong director jong ta school education but literacy halor ki benta ki ba pair ki be day but katna ka puli puthi nang ta ka be day ba jing punan kami ka social media para ka jo ka poru halor ki judge exams ki ba pair ki badan hakari ke jongi but kum baula batai hi ba innak benta ka puli putingi dan kam banya trailang iwe na dukishnong ki thau ki kmi pa ban belong hi kata ka rukom puli ju ki khna ka belong ka bas ngautenat ba kum jo ha ka be day but ka jingle yakin ki exams UPSC rukum no bangi long ki bayai ne ba ki bayai sha ha kata ka jingle ka jongi khna mangin yo skate yu tau so bathiang but kum jo ru la pen pa ru halor ka kum no bangin em ya ka rukom em ka ba ke baklan da ka bangin lej da ka bangin yak chat ki jaka tre ke jongi bat kani kan la om tang bakan te ka met ka phar ke jongi henre ka nyarap ru ban pinsting ya ki surok ki singkin ki jongi da ka ba pindunai ki kali ki bran ha ki surok te parlo ka tungi la poisha ba ko jong kani ka interview jongi ta do bingi shamya pi ha ko wai pat ka por ngadi ban kin te maure na ka bentaw for front media ku blai ka por jong pi baro